Good morning. My name is Martin, and this is the Tribe of the Fox. And this is episode number 3 of Undirheimar. This is our journey through the heathen underworlds. So, underworlds are not necessarily afterlives. In the previous episode, we journeyed to Jotunheim. So, it is the land of the giants, so it's not an afterlife. And we went to the Ironwood and the Well of Mimir. And in the first episode, I told about the creation myth, as you can read in the Edda poetry. And I also talked about the importance of studying and the importance of trans-journeying and comparing our experiences. So that's what we did in previous episodes. Now, today we're going to explore some other worlds that we can read about in the prose Edda and the poetic Edda. Here's my old decaying copy again, and these old books, they smell so nice. This one is from 1944, so it smells nice. It's all death and decay, these old books. Speaking about death and decay, today we are going to journey to the afterlife of the underworld. Well, part of the afterlife. So today, Helheim, where the beings go who die. We are going to talk about Niflheim, which is attached to Helheim. We are going to the mountains in between Helheim and Niflheim, and we will visit the well of Oert, and we will visit Hvergelmir. That's also a well. And we will visit, what else? Nastrond. That's the beach of corpses. So enough to explore today. So first things first, Hell or Helheim, the afterlife. So Hell, we write this with one L, not with two L's, because that's in English the Christian hell. And that's something totally different than hell of heathenry, of Nordic heathenry. So Christian hell is a horrible place, and basically heathen hell is not a bad place to be, not necessarily. Okay, so who rules hell? Well, that's actually a deity with the same name, Hel, or Hela with one L. And Hela is, as we discussed in our previous video, the daughter of Angerboda. So Angerboda is perhaps the most powerful being at the moment that we have in our cosmos. And her children are very, very, very important in our cosmos and what will happen at the end of the cycle of time. So yeah, her daughter Hela, so Hela is a daughter not just from Angerboda, there also needs to be a father, and that's Loki. She rules the realm of the dead, that's what she does. So she does not kill you. She is basically the, let's say the CEO, the leading CEO of Helheim. So yeah. She seems to live there by herself. I don't know if she's married according to the source material that we can read. Well, there's nothing to read about any partner or children. And my own experiences in my journeys to Helheim. I mean, I visited this over 200 times by now. I've not seen a husband or children. Or maybe I'm not allowed to see this, I don't know. Because if you do trans journeying, then you will see, well, not everything. I mean, not everything is meant for you to know. Yeah, that's the thing that you have to accept if you do trans journeying. Yeah. So anyway, I did manage to see the goddess Hela several times during trans journeying. And yeah, she's an absolutely powerful ruler. That's what she is. She is one of the most important goddesses. She is wise, she's powerful. But interestingly enough, if I compare my experiences to the experiences of some other people, then you will see that we all notice that Hela also has a playful side. So yes, she is ancient, yes, she is powerful, yes, she is wise, but there's another side in her as well. And that's a side that you do not read about in the prose Edda or the poetic Edda. That's why you need to do trans-journeying and compare experiences. So yeah, Helheim, why is it so important? It's so important because we all go there. We, human beings, giants, animals, we go there when we die. So you understand already that this must be a vast realm. It's huge. Jotunheim is huge. Helheim is also huge. And our world, where we humans live in, Midgard, is just a tiny speck in the cosmos. It's not that much actually. Okay. Yeah, we all go there. However, there's also another afterlife that we are going to talk about next episode, and that's Mirkvidr, the dark forest. That's not a very nice afterlife. You spend some time there before you go to Helheim. Some people do. Other people, most people, go directly to Helheim. And in Helheim, your, let's say your soul, no matter what you want to call it, makes a journey. And the journey is very, very much, and that's my experience from my journeys to Helheim, it's very much about processing your life that you had here on Earth, in Midgard. So first you have to cross a river. There's a bridge. That bridge is guarded by Mordgoed. Mordgoed is a giantess. Of course she is a giantess, because Helheim is one of the many places that is ruled by the giants, by the Tuarzar. Yeah, so that's one way to go there. I have also learned that there are other ways to cross the water between our life and the next life. So what happens if somebody dies? Under normal circumstances, someone is in the in-between world, so to speak, for about a week. After the funeral or the cremation, the person goes, when everything goes to plan, crosses over. So that crossing over can be done by a bridge, and the crossing over can be done swimming. It's not recommendable, not recommendable, because there are beings in that water who might not make it. Another way is by boat. A ferryman will help you across. Or, and this is all knowledge that is not from the source material, by the way. This is shamanic knowledge. The other way, the fourth way to cross, is by swan. You know, this big white birds, swan. But that's not for everyone. That's for innocent people who died, like people who have dementia, for instance, or Alzheimer, or little children, or people who are mentally handicapped, and they don't seem to be afraid of the swan. That helps them crossing. So when people die, what I do is I put a representation, difficult word, representation of Helheim and the road that somebody's going to journey there. I draw it on a paper, put the name of the person there who died, and I have symbols, the appropriate symbols to get someone over the river. from this life to the afterlife. The swan, the bridge, the boat. And if I choose the boat, I put 3 coins on that little makeshift altar to get the people over. Yeah, and then you're in Helheim, and then you're going to basically process the life that you had here. Yeah, I see Helheim like a recycling factory, so to speak, a recycle plant where humans are being recycled, our souls. So yeah, that's how I see it basically. So this is more shamanic knowledge and not from the Edda poetry. We have to keep this separated, right? Okay, it's very, very, very important. Yeah, what else do I want to speak about? Yeah, it's a vast territory, and you can find quite some other interesting things in Helheim. For example, what you can find there is spirit animals. Spirit animals, and I made a video about this as well. Spirit animals, they come from the underworld. And that's why it's so important that if you do trance journeying and you know what your spirit animal is, to go there with your spirit animal, because he or she knows the underworld much better than you do, or I, right? They can really, really help you. Sometimes in the underworld, you come in situations with trance journeying that you really, really, really need your helpers. It's your spirit animal. It's coming from the underworld. And you can have multiple helpers, also for different tasks. So yeah, I have a helper for the fox, of course, but I also have a helper for working with the people who died or the people who stayed behind. I also have a helper for visiting illnesses in Helheim, because there's also a section of Helheim where illnesses, both physical illnesses and mental illnesses, live. I don't recommend you to go there. I don't recommend you. I can do this. I was trained to do this, or the best word is initiated. That's how I experienced it. I can do this, but it can be terrifying. It can be terrifying. I once visited Parkinson's disease. That is a really, really serious disease, by the way. And I got so frightened that I was ungrounded for an entire week. And my helpers had to help me get out of there. So I don't recommend you to do this unless you are experienced or well trained, or if you really know that you can do this. You have a bit of an initiation to do this. So yeah, illnesses live there. It's very interesting. And especially if you visit illnesses, then you will see the more fear you show, the more powerful the illnesses become. They feed on fear. Yeah. It's what they do. It's what they do. Yeah, Helheim. There's something very interesting in Helheim as well. And by the way, there was this lady who was very intuitive, but she didn't know anything about heathenry or the heathen underworlds. And I helped her to contact Hela. And she spontaneously went into a journey to the underworld. And that was pretty cool, because what happened was that she described the border area of Helheim. She described it very, very precise, and she could not have this knowledge. This is what happens if you compare your experiences. Anyway, there is a well in Helheim, and the well is called the Well of Uert. And who lived there? The Norns. Uert, Verdandi, and Skuld. These are the ladies who weave the fate of gods and men. And women, of course. Gods and men. So that's what they do. Can you imagine the power that is beyond belief? You know, they just do this. It's a very unpersonal thing, I think. But they just weave the fate. These three goddesses. Yeah. So journeying to the Well of Urt, if you are allowed to go there, I experienced this multiple times as extremely visual and extremely energetically intense. There were also always very intense journeys to go to the Well of Urt. And the Well of Urt is because the Norns weave your fate there. It has to do with rebirth. This is a well that has to do with rebirth. It's basically the end of the recycling station, so to speak, if you perceive Helheim as a recycling station. Yeah. You can also leave Helheim by journeying through mountains. The dark mountains, Nidafjöll is the name, Nidafjöll. If I pronounce it well, because I'm not Scandinavian, I'm Dutch. Yeah, so these dark mountains, interesting place. They're just really snowy mountains, and the atmosphere there that I experienced while trance journeying was that the air is very thin there, very thin air. And it's not a place without danger. You should certainly take your helpers with you, your spirit animal with you. And if you visit other places, by the way, like Helheim, always ask the deity that rules the place for permission by giving, for instance, a little offering or standing in front of your altar and just ask or announce that you have plans to visit. Very important. That all has to do with respect. That can bring you a long way. Also in Helheim, your way can be blocked sometimes by fierce animals. It's very simple. Just have respect and don't push on. Just say, okay, I understand. I'm not allowed to go any further. And then back off. So all have to do with respect. It's so simple. Yeah. So Helheim, dark mountains. So what's on the other side of the dark mountains? Yeah, there's Niflheim. So Niflheim, according to the Prose Edda, was the second world that came into being. So the first world was Muspelheim, the land of fire, where Sword rules the place. And Niflheim was the second world, so it's older than Helheim. And Niflheim is a very cold, misty place. Misty, yeah, Nifl, it means mist. Niflheim, home of mist. I encountered snowstorms there. And it's a very important place because it also has to do with an afterlife, but in a different way than Helheim. Helheim is more like rebirth. Niflheim is really the end station. This is for if you're going to leave the circle of birth and death. That's what I understood. So that's the right place if you want to get out of this circle of birth and death. If you have done this already so many million times, then at a certain point you get sick and tired of being reborn again, right? Then this place becomes like a prison. Not for your body, not for your energy body, and not for your physical body, because they are built for this realm where we human beings live, Midgard. But for your soul, maybe you're done with this. Then Niflheim is the place to go. There's a place there called Nastrond. It's a beach of corpses, and there's this dragon Nidauger. And Nidauger, he eats the corpses. Now what does this mean? Snorri Sturluson, who composed the Prose Edda, he claimed that all kinds of really bad people went there as a kind of hell, just like Christian hell. This would be more like the heathen hell. But Snorri was a Christian. So this is how he described Nastrond and the dragon Nidhögr. Yeah, okay. I see it totally different. I think Nidhögr, I'm not sure, I don't have all the wisdom available, of course, but I think that Nidhögr, he destroys that what is really left of you. So you don't have to be reborn again. End of the line, going back to the primordial void, being free. And when I made a trance journey to Nastrond, I did not saw the dragon Nidhögr. I've not seen him, but in my mind's eye I could see a funeral going on. So obviously you can die in the afterlife as well. And I think that means that you're not being reborn anymore, but that you die out of this circle of birth and death. So yeah, very important. Yeah, and there's also in Niflheim a well, and it's called Hvergelmir. Hvergelmir, I don't see it like one well, certainly not some man-made well, but I see it in my trance journeying as a small area where different streams of water come on the surface. That's how I see it. Yeah, and that's really, really a well connected to the primordial void outside the cosmos. It is in connection with, that's how I see it. I see Hvergelmir, the well, is connected with outside of the cosmos. Interestingly enough, the waters are not just water, it's also what I just already discussed, aether. A-I-T-R, really important to understand, because aether is that which gives growth and creation, but it also has destruction in it, and the Edda poetry calls it a poisonous substance. So this whole cosmos is built of poisonous substance. That's why people get old, they get sick, or if we get wounded, we can stay crippled for the rest of our lives. Decay is built in. Destruction is built in this cosmos, as well as growth and creation. That's why we constantly have this cycle of birth and death. You understand how important this substance of aether is. Comes from the well of Hvergelmir. And from Hvergelmir, that well, all kinds of rivers come and they go their way. Yeah. So yeah, what else? Let's see, have I not forgot something? Yeah, the hole where Hela lives is in Niflheim. It's not in Helheim. So there you can really see that Hela is really a frost giant, and her mother Angerboda, although living in the Ironwood, you can say is a frost giant as well. Rime tours, that is also called. So yeah, this is very interesting. It's my favorite place to journey to, this afterlife. I'm very well connected to it. And if you really want to know how it feels, just go to a cemetery. To a really nice cemetery, and you will have the feeling how Helheim feels. It's a very addictive energy because it's so nice and tranquil. Although there's also danger, for instance, if you visit illnesses. So it's not just a place of rest, it can also be a place of action in some ways. So Helheim for rebirth, Niflheim for getting out of the cosmos and having peace, not being reborn anymore. Two wells there. The well of Oort in Helheim, Hvergelmir in Niflheim. And every well is also near one of the roots of the world tree Yggdrasil. So yeah, And there are more afterlives. We're going to talk about this next episode. So that was it for today. I mean, it was quite a journey. So please write your own experiences in the comment section below, or your questions. Please put it in the comment section below, then we can learn from each other. Because I really like to learn from your experiences as well. It's very important. Only this will bring us forward. So that said, end of the video. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.